first step towards online privacy. Get NordVPN.
I invested £25,000. Today, that investment is worth £5 million.
Say hello to our hero, the Hydrogen Energy Release Optimizer. Limitless power, zero emissions.
Let's see what happens.
Hi, everybody. I'm joined by Alex Krainer, and we're going to do something that we haven't done before. But before I say what that is, please subscribe, follow me on Twitter, CryptoRichYT, join my official Telegram announcements channel. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please come over to bit.ly/CryptoRich3Speak or bit.ly/CryptoRichOdyssey. And you can find Alex. There you go. You can find Alex. How do I point? There you go. Naked Hedge. Where else can people find you, Alex?
On Substack, Alex Krainer's Trend Compass.
Alex, right. And Naked Hedge.
And on iSystem Trend Following, which is my website for investors and traders.
Great. And I'll have the links in the description below. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at Zero Hedge, because Zero Hedge is just an incredible resource for all sorts of information. And we're just going to comment together on some of the stories in Zero Hedge. Can you see that clearly?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, so let's have a look. So we have...
Well, that's what I read every day, by the way. I read Zero Hedge every day.
Yep, myself as well.
It's been it's become one of the to-go places for, world news.
Yep, and we're recording this Saturday the 2nd of September, 1837 UK time, GMT. And just look at this. Senator Marsha Blackburn blasts the Judiciary Committee chair for blocking the Epstein subpoena. So I think she wanted the flight logs subpoenaed. Let's have a look. She wanted the flight logs subpoenaed, and they've said no. Okay.
Well, the pressure's building. I think this is coming. They're not going to be able to keep this genie in the bottle forever.
Yeah, what are Democrats trying to hide? Let us know in the comments below if you think what they're trying to hide. Okay, January 6th committee tapes have disappeared, says the House Republican.
I don't see what the big fuss is. Those tapes tend to disappear. I think that maybe they're hidden in the same place as the moon landing tapes. I don't know, but these things disappear.
They do disappear. Somebody puts them behind a cupboard, or they fall down the back of the sofa or down the side of the sofa. They're not that important.
Yeah, it's in the cushion somewhere.
Rogan, Democrats have no cards to play for 2024 except imprisoning Trump. Well, what do you expect a horse pace eating white supremacist to say?
Well, and even at that, I think it's grossly unfair because they clearly have, the LGBT movement, they have the transgender movement, Black Lives Matter, and all of those wonderful things. So this is just very unfair. And, Rogan is just proving himself to be far-right, white supremacist, science-denying,
anti-vaxxer,
anti-vaxxing,
conspiracy theorist,
misogynist, and conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
So, get him off the screen. We need to move on.
Alex, what I'm reminded of, right, is Biden put out a tweet or somebody, not him, right, saying about how the government was doing everything to stop the fentanyl epidemic in the US. Treatment centers and increasing the crimes and telling the police to go and look out for it, right? And I think it was Roseanne Barr. She retweeted, "Close the freaking border." That would do it.
Right.
They're doing everything but that. Okay, a crime against humanity. Western civilization saturating itself in lies. I think this itself is misinformation, because we mustn't forget European values in the new age.
Yes, we must not. And I think we need finally for our authorities to step in and to destroy free speech in order to save free speech.
For our common good, like that Green member of Parliament in Ireland said recently, for our common good. Okay,
yes.
Let's have a look. I'm just changing the private jet headed to global warming conference, literally frozen on runway. Now, I actually had a look at this one. And these are these private jets that are off to the global warming conference in the UAE, and they're frozen. This is in an era of global boiling as well.
Yes, the air has become unbreathable, but maybe God's saying something about this to the attendees of the COP28, right?
Yeah. Well, let me just have a look at this, because I think there was a chart here. I don't know if it was here. It says how many. No, it's not here. But I saw somewhere, maybe it was on Twitter, about how most of the people who are flying there are getting there are doing so by private jet. You and I, we're going to be stuck in our 15-minute cities eating bugs. But
Yes, but we don't have to solve the problem of global warming, so we don't have to go anywhere. But you see, they have to fix it for us, so they have to fly around, and to carve out all these deals, because otherwise the planet's just going to burn to a crisp.
We're going to boil away.
It's going to boil away, exactly.
This one, never mind bogus measures of inflation. Purchasing power is what counts, and it's decaying. So anything, I haven't looked at this one.
Well, there you go. There you go. This is exactly the kind of hate speech that we need suppressed.
Okay, moving on. Mossad negotiators called home from Qatar as hopes for extending truce reach a dead end. Oh, it's a tragedy.
Mossad negotiators came home.
Called home from Qatar.
Called home from Qatar. It would be fair to mention.
Why are Mossad negotiating?
Yeah, exactly. Because who are Hamas supporters? Who are Hamas supporters? Is it people who are calling for free Palestine on the streets of Europe and the Western world, or is it Qatar who was giving between $300 and $400 million to Hamas every year? Let me think. So why is Mossad negotiating with the supporters of Hamas in Qatar? And then also, why did UBS give Qatar a $9 billion loan after they've been supporting Hamas for all these years with hundreds of millions of dollars? That's weird. More hate speech. That's what we have.
Okay. The ultimate guide to why we are not yet there. I don't know what that is. We'll move on. Tesla reveals Cybertruck's exoskeleton can stop buckshot blast. Okay. We don't have to comment on every story, by the way. How American neocons wrecked the Middle East and Ukraine. Now, you and I recorded another video, which will be out in a day or so, about war, why the West is always at war. And
yes.
They have indeed wrecked the Middle East. Although he sounds a little bit like a Putin puppet. That might be something.
Yes, definitely a Putin puppet. But the answer that we need to, the questions that we must answer is how come these neocons are as powerful as they are? Because they're not, it's not a very large number of people. They don't have a large constituency. Nobody cares about these wars. Nobody wants these wars. Yet somehow these people are able to continuously stoke them and to steer the course of the foreign policy of the whole nation of the United States. And they are basically a small cabal of ideologues around the State Department and the Pentagon and the National Security Agency, CIA, FBI, and so forth. Why is this cabal as powerful as they are? And I think the only answer that's going to cut close to the truth is going to be money. Somehow they have the power of the purse over other structures of the U.S. government.
Well, they don't serve their constituents. They don't serve their constituents. They serve the lobbyists.
Exactly. So whoever is making them powerful is defining the policy.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you. Tiger Global's top venture fund suffers 18% loss following portfolio markdowns. Do you want to comment on this, or we go on to the next one, which you'll really love?
Well, this is the reality of the world of investment management. Is that a lot of these people who are constantly on Bloomberg TV and on CNBC and in Financial Times and Wall Street Journal, who are the masters of the universe and who are explaining the world to us nonstop, are just as flawed and just as fallible as all the rest of us. And, from time to time that comes true, which is this headline.
This one, you'll love this one. Tyrannosaurus Rex, the activist academics querying dinosaurs. So in some museum somewhere, I think in the United States, they've looked at the dinosaurs and they said, we've not been able to sex this dinosaur accurately. We think it's non-binary. I kid you not, Alex. I really kid you not.
It's a great use of taxpayer funds for this type of studies to be done and for this kind of articles to be printed in the press. Great. I'm going to be sure to read that one.
Okay, Powell comments sent everything soaring, gold hits all-time high, dollar plummets as market prices in rate cuts. Now, people should really follow Tom Luongo and stuff because he does some great coverage of the Fed and the dollar. But gold,
Yeah, and I have to say that as a commodities trader, I think that the gold breaking out to new historical all-time high is could prove very significant because gold has peaked in 2020 at $2,058, and since then it's been fluctuating sideways in like a $400 band between 1,600 and 2,000. And so this horizontal fluctuation has been basically what gold has done for the last nearly 4 years. And so the fact that it has broken from this base, this very large, very broad, very long established base, to a higher level could prove very significant, and we might see gold go into one of those hockey stick rallies. I don't know, but it could happen because more and more assets in world global markets have displayed this hockey stick rally where they just explode higher, way beyond what anybody expects. And the reason for this is because most of these investment markets are relatively small compared to the quantity of investable assets that are sloshing around this what do you call it, the shadow banking system. The bank balances, the hedge funds, the endowments, the pensions around the world. They control north of $200 billion. Or did I say that wrong? Is it trillion?
I think it's much larger. Much larger.
No, it's 200 trillion.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, when one market like gold, which is, I think, if you add it all up, you get maybe 100 billion. No, sorry, you get 1 trillion. The size of the global gold market is 1 trillion, and the size of the global shadow banking system is 200 trillion. So if just a segment of all those money managers, those hedge fund managers, endowment managers, pension fund managers, kind of start thinking, gold's looking interesting, that could trigger a stampede into gold, and we might see gold going well. We have forecasts of like, gold's going to go to 2,500, or gold's going to go to 3,000. Well, we'll find out, but I wouldn't be surprised if in another 2 years gold is at 5,000 or maybe even higher.
Okay, well, that makes complete sense to me from my limited understanding because they keep printing, and at some point the naked shorting, the manipulation of the gold market, it's just not going to work. Plus, I think Tom said, I don't know where he said it, but the Europeans are looking to boost their balance sheets by increasing the value of gold because they hold a fair amount of gold between them. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Sense.
Oh, this is North Korea and Eritrea dominate the global hotspots of modern slavery. Tragic. But don't worry, it's coming to a Western state near you because we will.
Well, it's interesting. They mentioned North Korea, but they forgot to mention Libya. And then, so much of the news we get about North Korea and countries like that are absolute, complete hogwash, contrived out of whole cloth. They just absolutely, they absolutely lie about their target regimes. The regimes that they have slated for a regime change or a coup or color revolution, they just invent stuff to demonize them. And I wouldn't be surprised if this one was one of them. I would be willing to bet that there is no slavery in North Korea.
Alex, I have to take you to task there because the Western media and the Western governments never ever demonize anybody ever. They always give us the unvarnished truth.
Unless, you have a point. Unless it's fair and balanced, of course.
Yes, that's just hate speech on your part. Okay. Oh. Self-amplifying RNA shots are coming. Oh, great.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Okay, this one. Iowa lottery mistakenly posts wrong Powerball numbers for 7 hours. Moving on. Put seller king reigns as greed grows. Because that's something to do with trading and investing. Campus dysfunction, easy to recognize, difficult to cure. Oh my God, I dare not even read this. I dare not even read this. Bloody snowflakes. Bloody snowflakes.
You know, the future the future of higher education in the Western world has been utterly destroyed. You know, I'm a father. I have two boys who are going to be university age kids in a couple of years. When I was their age, the normal thing was you go to school, and after school you go to university. I'm not sure that I want them to go to university, you know, and it's not because I don't want them to be smart and capable and functional and successful in life. It's because I doubt whether it makes any sense at all. I doubt that the universities will equip them for a successful life. At least the ones in the West. You know, I'm sure that if they went to university in, I don't know, in China or in Russia or in India, that they would get good, rigorous education at whatever they chose to pursue. But in the West, what they're going to get a whole bunch of wokery and social justice causes and climate saving, climate justice causes, and all at the expense of actual learning of actual things that matter.
Yep,
it's a tragedy, actually.
I recorded a couple of videos with Jana London from the Natural Women's Council, and
I know Jana.
You know Jana, good.
Yeah.
One video was about the World Health Organization sexuality education proposals for Europe, not the EU, but for Europe, saying what children need to know according to age. And she and I, in that video, she takes me through a table in there which says that 0 to 4-year-olds should know about masturbation.
0 to 4.
0 to 4. Not about exploration or how to deal with it. They're going to explore themselves anyway. But it actually used the word masturbation. Then later on, as they get older, 9-year-olds need to know about contraception. No, they don't. A 9-year-old doesn't need to know about contraception. And also you don't always have to say no to unwanted touches. What? You don't always have to say no? This is being rolled out this is the proposal for schools. Then in certain schools in Ireland, it gets even worse. They have, I think in secondary schools, like high schools for teenagers, some subjects are going to be optional, like the science subjects or languages are going to be optional. And they're going to be replaced by well-being courses, which is going to be about gender and sexuality. And it's going to be about climate change.
Oh, dear.
You know, it's like I go into schools regularly as part of my job, and I'm horrified. I'm absolutely horrified. And this stuff hasn't rolled out yet.
This is, Rich, practically a suicide of a civilization.
Yeah.
This is a civilization committing suicide. It's insane.
Yeah. Hate crime hoaxer Jussie Smollett headed back to jail after failed appeal, because this one he staged that he was being hung or something, and it turned out that
he staged it himself.
Yeah. It was like a white crime against him and stuff. It was racist crime. Nope. Back to jail you go. Now, this is a little bit concerning. Latin America on edge as Venezuela's Maduro holds referendum whether or not to invade oil-rich neighbor Guyana.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because that Guyana is also called French Guyana. Or at least maybe there is two Guyanas, the Guyana and the French Guyana.
Yeah.
And
anyway.
How interesting. Well, you know, I'll have to look into this one. This is very interesting.
Yeah, always worth checking. Normally I check Zero Hedge 2 or 3 times a day during the week. On Saturdays, once or twice. Okay, last one. Actually, just on this one, given my understanding of the collapse of the Venezuelan economy and the collapse of the Venezuelan, I don't know what their currency is, peso, is it?
Bolivar,
yes. It makes sense that when your currency is collapsing, that you would go and invade a resource-rich country.
You know, maybe or maybe not. I don't know. You know, like I grew up in a country whose currency was collapsing, and we didn't invade any other countries in the neighborhood, but we did go into a war against one another. But that was, you know, wars in Yugoslavia in the early 1990s, where again, we didn't know this at the time, but the wars were orchestrated from outside.
Yeah.
So they foreign intelligence and secret diplomacy services just do stuff that ends up destabilizing the nation. They exert influence in ways that destabilizes the nation, and then they also place their own agents inside the country to actually trigger the hostilities. So I wouldn't, the United States very, very badly needs Venezuela's oil, because Venezuela has heavy oil, which you need to produce heavy fuel and diesel and jet fuel. And the American resources are becoming depleted, and the fracking oil they get from fracking is good for gasoline, but it doesn't yield any diesel or any heavy fuel oil. And so I wouldn't be surprised if some kind of a dirty trick is being played to destabilize Venezuela, to draw it into some kind of a conflict or something like this. That Venezuela, which has the world's largest oil reserve, needs to invade Guyana to be even more oil rich. That doesn't sound right to me, but who knows?
Very good. Thank you, Alex. Thank you. Alex Krainer and Zero Hedge. Fabulous combination for great analysis. Thank you.
Good to be with you, Rich.
Hold on, last one. First hospital nation to require COVID-19 vaccines will end the mandate. About bloody time too. Can't believe it's taken this long.
Yeah, and it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely incredible.
The hospital, people who should know something about medicine.
No.
It took them 3 years. Amazing.
What they know about is profits sponsored by big pharma.
Yeah, exactly. But now you're going into hate speech.
Yes, as is the Texas state attorney general. So this is what's happened with these injections. Johnson & Johnson got pulled very quickly because it was so harmful. AstraZeneca, yes, it does cause myocarditis, so they stopped using that in certain places. Iceland
it's a mild and only temporary condition.
Thank you for pointing that out. Iceland has halted the use of Moderna after more reports of adverse events. And now the Texas State Attorney General is suing Pfizer for fraud and deception, said they lied about their products. And Texas was the state where the judge ruled that Pfizer had to release their trial data. They couldn't keep it under covers for 75 years as they wanted.
Well, Rich, I think that's a bit harsh. Maybe they didn't lie. Maybe they had faulty intelligence. These things are complicated. It happens.
Perhaps. And it was an emergency and we were all going to die. There is that.
Exactly. So, imagine how many people would have died if they didn't, vaccinate the population.
Yeah. That would have been that would have been pretty good, I think. Very few. All right, Alex, thank you so much for doing this. Maybe we will do this again at some point soon. Really, really loved it. Please check out Alex's links. If you want to see more of this, let me know in the comments below. And between now and when I see you next, please keep filling your pockets with Zero Hedge news items. This is Alex and Rich signing out. All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.